City Council.
Debe estar aquí. Tiene que ser demostrado como asesino. Welcome to tonight's regular session, Mayor and City Council meeting, 6 p.m. Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, City Hall Complex, Council Chambers. Can we, we'll call meeting to order, and can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Reyes?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Reyes?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure. Thank you. For invocation today, we have Pastor Darwin of Trump Evangelical Lutheran Church in Nogales, 429 East Patagonia. Can you please come forward and state your name and address, please?
There it is. Yes, thank you for this invitation. I am Pastor Darwin Jackson from Triumph Evangelical Lutheran Church here in Nogales. I've been a pastor now here for, going on 3 years. Started just before the pandemic, I guess. But before that, I was missionary to Mexico for about 23 years, along with my wife. If I may begin with a passage of Scripture,
Yes, sir,
a
please.
well-known passage from Romans chapter 13. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. I was called by God to be a missionary to Mexico for a number of years, and now as pastor. But we all here are called by God to serve in the offices that we have, whether mayor or all of us, and so a lot of responsibility upon us, whether it's ministering a church or ministering to the folks in Nogales. But a reminder, with the responsibility, God always gives grace to do the jobs that He has given us. So let's pray and let's ask God to give His grace this evening. Our Father, we thank you for your goodness. Thank you for the order that you bring. And Lord, you have created government that there might be order in our communities and our countries. And Lord, now we ask that you would lead this meeting tonight. Lead each one of us, Heavenly Father, that you would bring your peace, that there would be respect for one another. Lord, that the well-being of Nogales, that your kingdom might come to Nogales because of all that's done here this evening. And Father, we thank you ahead of time for all you're going to do. In Jesus' name, amen. Blessings.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Now, call to the public. I've got Mr. Omar Garcia. Can you please come up and state your address and your name, please?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council members. My name is Omar Garcia, and I reside at 2095 North Apache Boulevard. And on on May 16th or 17th of 2019, we came before you for a request to have the Apache Boulevard paved, which was a much, much needed project. And you know, and there's a lot of us that were here at the time, that it was in very, very bad condition. And we thank you, and I thank you on behalf of everybody that you came through. And you should see, you know, if nobody has gone through there, you should see the project now. It was really, really bad, in bad shape. And since we came here before you and asked you, I think it's appropriate for us to come and thank you also for a job well done. And I want to thank Mayor Maldonado, because at that time he was a councilman, and during this process, when I would call Mr. Maldonado, if he was busy, he would call me back and tell me where we were at with the project. And to me, that's worth a lot. And as a matter of fact, I called Mr. Maldonado, was it 2 weeks ago, regarding a safety hazard that runs lateral to the high school football field, which is a 15-foot drop, very steep. And I don't know how long has the school been built, since 25, 30 years ago?
It started in 81, 82.
Well, you can see nothing has been done. And I've seen some people fall there, kids mainly, but it's a very dangerous situation. And the next day, I believe you were there taking pictures by yourself. You went there and took pictures of the situation, of the safety hazard. And to my surprise, there was your staff, a couple of engineers, looking at the portion which needs to be barricaded. And I want to thank you for that also, because you care about the community, and it's a dangerous situation. And my point right now is to thank you on behalf of everybody that lives there, because it came through. Some were not believers, and that's not going to happen. It is going to happen. And I thank you for the city administration. You did a great job. And I fully believe that this administration is out there to help the community and listen to our citizens. And I wish you, Mayor Maldonado, and all the city councilmen, the very best. And that's what I wanted to say tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia. Sorry, legal, but answer a couple of questions.
No, that's all right.
Now we have Mr. Jose Obeso. Can you please come forward and state your name and address? Hablamos español. Tiene que pasar, diga su nombre y su dirección, por favor. Es
Yo
protocolo.
soy Obeso y vivo en la Cierduli 741. Y mi presencia aquí es para demostrar mi conformidad por los departamentos que se quieren construir ahí al lado de frente de mi casa. Y esa es mi petición. Y aprovechar para también agradecer a las autoridades que intervinieron para la pavimentación del Boulevard Apache ahí. Y estamos muy contentos los vecinos, sobre todo con la nueva administración que va entrando con muchas ganas de ayudarnos y encargarle que nos eche una manita ahí con una reparacioncita con la calle. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Next we have Mr. Enrique Sanchez. Please come and state your name and address, please.
Buenas tardes,
Buenas tardes.
señor Jorge Maldonado, mayor de Nogales, Arizona, a todo el concilio. Gracias por atendernos. El motivo de mi visita,
Disculpe, señor Sánchez, su nombre y dirección, por favor.
yo soy Enrique Sánchez y mi dirección es 727 West Placita Germán Rivas.
Gracias.
A la orden. Con el debido respeto que ustedes se merecen, vengo en nombre y representación de los vecinos de la calle Frank Reed, de la calle Placita Germán Rivas, de la calle Ciarduli y las demás calles aledañas a esta calle tan importante ahora, que es Frank Reed. Se manifiesta la inconformidad a los daños, de manifestar la inconformidad que existe de todos los vecinos por el cambio que se hizo en este sector de la calle Frank Reed, de zona residencial singular, por sus siglas en inglés SFR, a zona residencial multifamiliar, que sus siglas son MFR. Terrenos que se ubican al noroeste de la calle Frank Reed y colinda con la carretera I-19. Nunca se nos notificó de estos cambios que se querían hacer. Nunca, al menos con la gente que yo he platicado de la vecindad, no se nos notificó de estos cambios. Nuestra inconformidad es que se piensa construir unos departamentos o multifamiliares en esta zona, ya que viene a dañar, y si se hace, viene a dañar el valor de nuestras viviendas y la tranquilidad de nuestras familias. Anteriormente, hace algunos años, se solicitó el cambio de esta zona de residencial a industrial o a de vivienda, y se le negó al señor Paul Bond. El señor Paul Bond quería construir un almacén en esa área para distribuir medicinas o no, algo así, pero se le negó la petición. Ahora estamos enterados que la persona que quiere hacer el proyecto de construir los condominios, los departamentos, compró el terreno al señor Bond, Paul Bond, y él es empleado de este municipio. En la ciudad de Nogales, él pertenece al comité de Planning and Zoning, al parecer. Ahora sí se hizo el cambio para beneficio de esta persona o algunas personas. Y esto se puede llamar un conflicto de intereses, si es así. A lo que vivimos en la calle saturada de tráfico, y si se nos viene esta construcción, vamos a llenarla más. Esta calle, la cual fue remodelada gracias a la intervención del señor Maldonado. Jorge Maldonado todavía no era mayor. La intervención que tuvo es en gastar ese dinero que se tenía para el arreglo de la calle Frank Reed, de la pavimentación, y se movió él y otras personas, y gracias a ellos se logró tener la calle que ahora tenemos. Y le damos las gracias, señor Maldonado. Le damos las gracias a todos los que intervinieron en este movimiento. Si no se hubiera hecho en ese momento, que fue más o menos en septiembre, el dinero que estaba para la remodelación de la calle se hubiera devuelto al gobierno, se pierde, porque no se usa. Le agradecemos mucho, señor Maldonado, esa intervención que tuvo, a todas las personas que intervinieron, le damos las gracias. Estamos muy contentos con la calle, que está funcionando perfectamente. Yo vengo en nombre de mis vecinos y les agradezco que hayan asistido a esta reunión. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, señor Sánchez. Next, we have Jose Valencia. Can you please come and state your name and address, please?
Mayor Jose Valencia, 981 West Mariposa Hills Drive. Council, good afternoon. I have lived in the Mariposa subdivision since its inception. Okay, we were with when George Barr had the subdivision there. We were the first people that bought into his vision, and we came up and we told him, look, we want to buy some lots there, right? And my brother and myself and some other people, we were the first ones to invest in the property there. And over the years, we have nurtured the neighborhood. You know, we have looked after it. You know, we have exchanged with our neighbors. You know, and we pretty much haven't relied on the city for a whole lot. Okay, obviously, when the construction of the new street came in, we were all delighted. You know, I think it was great. We want to thank you for that. I did question the fact that, hey, we're going to 24 to a street that's 24 feet wide, and why are we narrowing the street with so much volume? And I was told because it's residential, okay? And I said, great, yeah, it is a residential neighborhood. Residential, what does it mean? Detached housing, individual detached housing, right? That's what we were looking at. That's what I was told. And actually, I was told by the same people who put in the application that I'm coming here to contest, okay? So now we're looking at a street that was reduced in size. We were told to buy into it because it's a residential neighborhood, correct? Okay. We all have the detached housing, right? We all have vested in it over the last 30, 35 years, right? And during that course, we have been privy to other people trying to do or make use of Paul Bond's property, okay? The people that didn't put the application were the first ones. At one time, there was a dentist, and he came to us. He came to the neighborhood, and he said, hey, I want to build this clinic here. And we asked him, how do you want to do it? And he told, look, this is what I want to do. I want to put it here. I want to put it there. And we said, no. And he said, you know, I'm glad I came to you first because I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I want you all to be on board on it. Okay? It was great. Then Paul Bond decided to do some other things, and they came to us first. We didn't have to come here first. It was a neighborhood, right? So consequently, recently I was informed of the change of use on the property, that over the years, people were trying to figure out what to do with it. And I found out that the zoning was changed. And unfortunately here, it was the same individual that lives in the neighborhood and that's a member of the city. He could have come to us and told us, but he didn't. He chose not to. He didn't tell anybody. Okay, that's fine. He doesn't have to. All right, he doesn't have to. But the issue here is that the application goes in, and normally you would say, and I have the application that was put in, and it says a site plan. There's no site plan in the application. Okay, it says that a site plan was submitted to the fire department. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the use. Okay, that it's townhouses. Well, there's a fine line between townhouses and high density development. Okay. And obviously, if there was a project, if we were told, look, these are the plans, these are the designs, this is the spacing, this is the density, you know, we could start taking a look at it and massaging it and working with them. But that wasn't done, right? People were sent notices. The majority of the people here say that they didn't receive them. I know there was an objection. I don't know what happened to the objection, right? I don't know what happened to the site plan. But in the end, okay, it was approved, okay? It can be approved. The problem here is you say, well, Jose, look, we're going to approve the zoning, and we're going to let the building department take care of complying with the scale, the design, right? The impact studies, right? The traffic, if the access is done by the street or side street. But the problem here, the building department are the same thing. It's the same thing. So where are we protected? Where are we protected as citizens from this process? Where is it transparent? Where is it fair? And obviously those are terms, and where is it, and I'm going to talk about the benefits later, but where is it transparent? Where is it fair? Because as neighbors, and we all know us, we're all neighbors, we have always shared, we have always looked after ourselves. And we always have found a way to coexist there. Some of it didn't work out, but for the most part it did. So where is this process fair? Where is it truthful? Where does it create goodwill? Okay. Tell me what are we, I mean, our neighborhood is, the people here are, Omar and I, we're here of a goodwill. I'm here of goodwill to, when they ask me, Jose, please help us out. Goodwill. So where do we have stand a chance in continuing to protect our neighborhood, right, as we have done before? All of a sudden, you guys get in the way. We did fine for 30 years. Now you guys are coming in, and now it's not working for us, right? It's not working for us. I wish that Alejandro had come to me first, and maybe he would have gotten a better chance, but he didn't. And then the benefits. Does it really benefit the city? Is this really benefiting the city? Is this really, you're going to tell me that this is really in the master plan of the city? That this is the ideal growth for Mariposa Hill subdivision? The sheer impact of the property that Alejandro owns, okay, the sheer size and the density would pretty much double the whole Mariposa subdivision on the density level, okay? So where are the benefits? Where are the benefits to us, to him, and to the city? Now, somebody said, okay, look, it's legal, the process is legal, this and the other. We're not questioning that. You know, when I was a kid, I remember, I think your position is, I was trying to reflect on really.
Sorry to interrupt, but one more minute, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
When I was younger, I remember once I told my dad I wanted to go across the line, and he said, yes, go ahead and go. Put on my cologne, my shirt, was going to cross the line. My mother asked me, where are you going? I'm going to cross the line. No, you're not. Right? Well, I think it's a similar process. You guys, I mean, you got a recommendation? I mean, the planning and zoning making a recommendation there? My dad wasn't illegal in telling me that I could go. Planning and zoning is not doing anything wrong. But the thing is that my mother and you guys, you know, you guys are here to really protect us, okay? To really help us here, to really continue, just let us continue with our process. That's all we ask. Let us continue with our process. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Mr. Valencia. Next, we have Marta Rodriguez. Can you please come forward and state your name and address, please?
Good evening, Mayor Jorge Maldonado, board members, and all attendees. My name is Marta Rodriguez. My address is 1456 Camino Campestre. I'm here representing Nogales community affected by the water running crossing Country Club Drive. This is the third meeting that we are attending asking for your support to resolve this issue that is causing us a lot of problems in our daily life. We understand that this area belongs to the state, ADOT, but this issue is affecting Nogales community as students, student parents, teachers, business owners, residents, etc. We're asking if it is possible to have a representative of ADOT for the next meeting with possible solutions. We believe that this issue has a solution if we all put effort to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Next speaker, Mr. Cesar Parada. Can you please state your name and address?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. My name is Cesar Parada. I live at 150 East Charles. I have 4 requests that I need to know exactly where I stand. The first one is Charles Street, where I live in my section that goes up to the end of Charles Street, is it public street or is it my property? That I want to know. I had 3 different opinions from, I would say, acting engineers, Santa Cruz from the Public Works, Mr. Kissinger here, and Guerra, the real engineer. Maybe he can tell me if it's illegal or not.
It is public.
It is a public? All right. I paid my assessment for that street
We
to
cannot
be paved.
enter, Mr. Guerra. Thank you.
Now that I know this public, I paid my assessment for the street and never came back to finish it. And the reason why they didn't come back was one of the reasons that I asked them that I needed the sewer line extended all the way to the end because I got properties on both sides of the street. Maybe that's one of the causes I didn't continue to finish paving it. But I paid my assessments on the street because I didn't get it free. And since I found out that most of the areas in Meadow Hill, they didn't have sewer lines, they had septic tanks, they had problems collecting for the water bills because they didn't have a sewer line. And immediately they went over and put sewer lines in every street in Meadow Hills so he could be able to collect from the water bills. Okay? And that's why I asked, how come my line be extended all the way up to Charles Street, NP. Right, that's my first one. My second one, I'd like to know the cost. I'm a veteran, and we were denied funding for Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And I want to find out for sure how much was spent for Fiesta May and Fiestas Patrias. Since I don't get any response from anybody else, I'll bring it to public. Got that one? All right.
Go ahead.
Any questions?
We cannot, we cannot disclose our answer.
Okay, I just want to find out, because I'm a veteran, and we're denied funds for Memorial Day and Veterans Day. I want the public to know that our national holidays, the most important ones, the 4th of July, Veterans Day, and Memorial Day. Because those people that went out from this city, from this town, from my neighborhood, got killed in action. We're defending for democracy so they can all enjoy the life that we have today, all of us. That's why it's so important to me to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parada. And just for information of the public, we are not allowed to answer questions or anything during call to the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is communications. Item A, general proclamation. item, because number one is proclamation. Okay, proclamation on Early Childhood Education Awareness Month. Obviously, this was supposed to be read last Wednesday, but since we had the issue, I will read it this week. We had the issue with a electrical problem outage. Proclamation, whereas early childhood years are when the brain grows and develops the most. In 90% of a child's brain development by age 5 before they enter kindergarten. Whereas scientific research has shown that a child's experiences in their early years affect how their brain develops. Research has also proven that kids with quality early childhood experiences do better in school, are more likely to go to college and have successful careers. They also trend to be healthier and demand less from the public welfare system. Whereas the goal of Santa Cruz County School Superintendent Alfredo E. Velasquez in 2023 is to raise community awareness about the support system Santa Cruz County has for families that have children from 0 to 8 years of age. Whereas Early Childhood Education Awareness Month is sponsored by Santa Cruz County School Superintendent's Office, First Things First, Mariposa Community Health Center, University of Arizona Family Resources Centers, Nogales, Patagonia, and Rio Rico, Child and Family Resources, Inc., Child Care Resources and Referrals, Nogales, Santa Cruz County Libraries, Department of Departmental Disabilities, Santa Cruz County, City of Nogales, Nogales Rotary Club, Nogales Unified School District number 1, Santa Cruz Valley Unified School District number 35, Patagonia Public Schools District 6 and 20, Sonoida Elementary District number 25, Santa Cruz Elementary District 28, charter schools, private schools, Child Parents Centers, Inc., Nogales, Challenger, Western, and Rio Rico Head Start Centers, preschools, and child care providers. Whereas during the month of February, information messages will be communicated to the community via social media, radio, and signage concerned young children with themes including increased awareness of how to identify the work with young children with special needs, a parent-educator retreat, professional development opportunities, and outside art event. The Santa Cruz County School Superintendent's Office promoting early registration for kindergarten, Early Childhood Leadership Award, and the Santa Cruz Regional Partnership Council of First Things First celebrates the Young Child Community Event. University of Arizona Family Resources Center promoting both behavior and mental health, and Mariposa Community Health Center promoting the importance of willingness checks, dental care, and vaccines, and STEM-related activities and sign language courses at Nogales County, Santa Cruz County Libraries. Now therefore, I, Jorge Maldonado, Mayor of the City of Nogales, Arizona, do hereby proclaim February 2023 as Early Childhood Education Awareness Month. Thank you. And Mr. Velasquez is not here. Yeah, I know, Mr. Velasquez is not here present, but Mr. Chris, I would like to present you this.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Here it is.
Wonderful. And thank you so much for the partnership that we've had with all of you, but also especially with the library. There's a lot of neat stuff happening. So we'll keep you guys updated.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Communications, let me present you. Presentation by Nogales High School senior Demis Alvarez requesting authorization to paint a mural at the basketball court at ANSA. Now you're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Demis Alvarez. And then today I would like to present my senior project. I'm a senior at Nogales High School. I named it Project Sunset Court. It's like a code name. But really, the project came from me wanting to create something meaningful for the community. Haven't seen so many murals going around the city and seeing how art has impacted the students here in Nogales, Arizona. I wanted to be a part of that. And so that was something that I was looking forward to into incorporating into my senior project. Before thinking about what I wanted to do for my project, it was the summer of last year, so 2022. I was going to a lot of parks here in Nogales, Arizona. I was going like every day, and I would see how some parks, let's say, would have more love than others, and I wanted to bring some love to some of the parks that weren't getting it. So, for example, Ansa Park was one of those that I would go to, and until now, recently, there's been a lot of updates to the parks, especially the one at Ansa with the new playground and how they repainted the lines on the court. But I wanted to do more than that. I wanted the course to be more accessible to the youth, and how it says there in the presentation that some days, it would rain in the summer nights, and it would be hard to play on the basketball courts. And so it really started from there, like from my project. For my essay, I decided to focus on how community parks affect cities and how important they are. I argued that community parks and recreational centers should receive more funding from the government as they help unify a community, encourage healthy lifestyles, and breed economic growth for the city. Project details. So how I have stated before, for my project, I wanted to create a mural for the Anta Court. It really started off as a passion project for me because, having, especially that landscape right there, you see the first pic where it's the court, the one to your top left. When you're playing in like the afternoon, you see how beautiful the sunset is and you see all the bright colors. That's something that Nogales is really known for. And so that's where kind of my inspiration came from. So that's what I wanted to incorporate it, and I came up with that one day when I was out playing with one of my friends, and we both came up with the idea of how, the sunsets here in Nogales are really pretty and very something that every citizen in Nogales can see and know that it's like a sunset from Nogales. Here are some inspirations. We see that these are mostly in bigger cities around the United States, and I wanted Nogales to be a part of, even though we're not as big as those cities, it doesn't mean we can't have these nice things, where we show our culture, and not saying that we don't, but, have a being able to show it and be a part of that. Here are some project drafts that I had. I know the first one is pretty hard to see. It was like I drew it on a piece of paper. My second draft was a little bit more rough. And then my final draft is to the right. That's really what I would like to do on the Anta Court. Trying to bring in a landscape and have a nice gradient of the sunset, of an afternoon sunset here in Nogales, Arizona. For my project plan, to get the project done, I would work with the Parks and Recreational Department, Ms. Travers, and also create opportunities for my fellow classmates and peers that would like to help me out at the project or at the project site. To pay for the cost, I would look to finance it maybe myself through fundraisers or donors that would be willing to help me out and fundraise this project. Thank you. Any questions?
Go ahead, Ms. Montier.
First of all, congratulations. I like your spirit. And I love the idea. I grew up too around that area and played tennis during my high school years. So thank you to all of you and your teacher in high school for encouraging you and mentoring you. So congratulations,
Thank
along
you.
with Mrs. Travers for encouraging you. And she's a good mentor. She's been at the high school. She was at the high school for many years. So great partnership. Thank you, mijo.
Thank you.
Mr. Gradias, Councilman Gradias, go ahead.
Thank you. My question to you is, will you be doing the artwork?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Me and students that would like to help out. I would make flyers. Make outreach, do an outreach. Get students that would like to help me out. Create opportunities for them to get maybe even community service hours, because you know how students, especially seniors, they're looking for opportunities like that. So my project would help them out too in some way.
Great. Also, Mayor and Council, I think there's something that we might look into funding ourselves. I think it's a great project.
Thank you, Councilman Doyle. Can you please turn on your mic? Thank you.
When do you plan to get started?
As soon as possible.
That's good.
Yeah, I just wanted to run it through you guys and see how you guys responded to my proposal and how you guys liked it. And yeah, as soon
Very
as
much.
possible.
Thank you.
Councilman Bonilla.
As Councilman Gradias said right now about the city possibly helping you fund, do you currently have the money for the materials, paint, and whatever you need?
Not currently, but it's something that I could, having your guys' approval and stuff like that, I could get to work on it fairly quickly. And, and that something that will happen through fundraising or either finding a donor that would be willing to help me out, because I know there's websites and people who are willing to help out. So, yeah.
We've already actually had some people reach out to help us out.
Councilwoman Melendez.
Do you have an idea how much is it gonna cost?
I'd say around at least $300 to $500 at minimum. And
I don't think so.
yeah, it's probably minimum.
You're going too low.
Yeah, it's a really rough estimate right now, but as soon as I have that information, I'll run it by you guys again.
Yeah, let us know. Through the cultural arts, we'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the epoxy paint that's used for the courts is more expensive. So yeah, we're looking at a couple thousand, sweetheart.
Great project. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, and my comment would be basically, Ms. Travers, we'll see how we could support the project. I love the idea. Let's make sure that, the coloration of when it's done and all that is, announced and everybody is off the court. Obviously, you're not going to paint it in a couple hours or in one day. So we need to coordinate all that, make sure, you have full access to the courts when you need it, and look at the weather. Look at the weather. The weather will change your plans overnight. But, obviously, like Ms. Travers said, we got to use the correct material. There's prepping, there's pre and post drawing that you're going to have to do. So if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Okay. Anybody else? Mr. Bojorquez, Councilman.
Is this part of your senior project?
Yes.
It is? So would you be interested in doing other parks?
Actually, if it's something that, came out well, if it's handled well and I'm able to complete it in a good amount of time, I would like that idea. I would like to be able to do that and have more people involved with helping me, create maybe like a sort of club or a sort of a community that would help me complete that goal. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's good that we have this talent here in the community, and it's sad that sometimes we have to let it go. Because I know you're a senior and you'll probably be going to college, but we want to take advantage of what we have right now in the community. Thank you for your work.
Thank you. Actually, to add to that, I wanted, actually, that was a part of also my project that I wanted to leave behind, something that would inspire other kids like me, other students, that wanted to take their inspirations with art and implement them into other facets of their life. So, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. We could put it as a, discussion and we need to put it as a discussion item and an action item on the next council meeting, which will be on the 24th. Let's do our homework and make sure that we have all the little details, so we could work at how we could support this project. It's something that I think the city needs, and I think we should find some. There's money for projects like these, and I think we should look into it. Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Beautiful project, huh? Next, we have a presentation and possible action on Paulina Abril's also senior project, City Hall for pet adoption.
Good evening, honorable member, mayors of the City Council, Madam Clerk, City Manager, City Attorney, and members of the public. My name is Paulina Abril, and I am a proud Nogales High School Apache. God willing, in May of this year, I will graduate and transition to one of the best universities in the state, University of Arizona. God willing, by August, I will be a proud Wildcat. I come before you to respectfully request your support and assistance in order for me to complete the required Nogales High School International Baccalaureate Extended CAS project. The CAS project stands for Creativity, Action, and Service, and this project is required for the IB diploma. Since I was a young child, I always loved to have pets at home. This has led me to work hard to promote activities in order to provide protection to these wonderful and lovely animals. After considering many options for my CAS project, I decided to complete a project in partnership with the Humane Society. The plan is to conduct a pet adoption day at Teechea Park on Saturday, March 4th of 2023 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Therefore, I respectfully request that you allow me to use the park for this project. In addition, I respectfully request that any fees for the use of the park are waived, as this is a community event in benefit of the adoption of pets. I commit that we will clean the park after the event concludes. I would like to express my most sincere appreciation for you allowing me to speak to you tonight and for any help you can provide me to accomplish this important goal in my life. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I am happy to address any questions or concerns you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. On March 4th, you said, what time frame are you looking at?
9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
And what type of pets will you be having? How do you plan to do your announcing of having all this out to the public?
So Nogales High School is allowing me to make announcements at school, and I would add physical papers and flyers. and I'm making a digital electronic flyer that would be passed out to family members and everything that I know have dogs. And well, the adoption day would be mainly for dogs. And I would go around to grocery stores. I would be around parking lots and just passing out flyers and everything.
Is this something you're working with the Humane Society?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Council, any questions? Go ahead, Mr. Doyle, if you turn on your mic, please.
Who's going to be bringing all the pets over for adoption?
The Humane Society is allowing, well, they're going to bring the pets over for adoption, and I would invite guests that I know have dogs and everything for them to actually have another dog.
Do you know what the process is to adopt a pet?
I do actually. So I went to the Humane Society actually yesterday, and in order for you to actually have full custody of a pet, you have to go through a lot of trainings and papers. And before, it's like, I think 3 months before you can actually obtain your adopted pet. This would be just a transition or an introduction, you could say, for that further step into adoption.
Okay, so they would have to pick up the pets eventually if they're approved for adoption at the Humane Society.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from council? Okay. Other question is, on these, the pets, is there any way, I've seen it up in, Tucson and all that area where the Humane Society gives it a faster method of adopting and not having to wait the 3 months. It's maybe something you could speak to them where it's, the process is less. They could. I guess it depends on who's going to be adopting the pet, if that's what their worry is. But talk to them on maybe a faster way of working it, because I think I'm pretty sure they have one. And obviously all the responsibilities of the vaccinations and all that, have to be addressed. I know that, but see how we could work with that. Now, besides the park, is it something else you would need from the city?
As of right now, no, because the Humane Society, they have a lot of tents for shade and everything. And I would also bring donations from people that I know have pets and everything to bring in more or less cleaning supplies and dog food for the actual Humane Society.
Councilman Bojorquez? No? Okay. Councilman Gradias?
This being an action item, I move to support this project and waive any fees associated with the use of the park on March 4th.
Second.
What? Go ahead, John.
Sorry to interrupt. Could you make that motion to either Techeo or Britton Park, because Techeo might be under.
That's.
Might move her to the front. Thank you.
I'd like to amend my motion to do it at either of the parks that's available.
Second.
Thank you so much.
And just for your knowledge, Techea's Park might be under beginning in reconstruction, or that's why the motion was changed.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for the motion. Thank you for a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have item B on communications, updates. Number one, updates, progress report on Rancho Grande project. Mr. Bárcenas?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the update that I have for these two projects is that we have the start date issued by the contractor. They're going to start on the 21st of this month. On the 14th of this month, we're going to have a pre-construction meeting to set up all the details and give us a more formal schedule. When are they going to start? How are they going to? What portion of the project are going to be starting first, and all the details of that on the 14th. So the notice to proceed was issued, and they came back and said we want to start on the 21st, and that's the firm date. And on that date, they are going to start counting the time that they have for the construction. I don't know if you have any questions.
Okay, basically, and legal, can we discuss both projects at one? They're basically the same. Yeah, they're, everybody's knowledge. These projects are coherent with one another. Royal Road project is also in with the same. Mr. Bracenas given us the same report. Mr. Bracenas, my question is, in the past we've had details on after the fact additional work and additional funds having to be used. Can we make sure that all I's are dotted and T's are crossed? I know there's unexpecteds, but I think me as being the head administrator of the council would like to see that so we don't have future additional costs and stuff like that. I know it's impossible to dot it to the penny, but let's look at all those numbers when you meet with them and make sure that we try to avoid any big costs after the fact. It's a question. I walked the project with you, through both Royal Road and Rancho Grandes. I know there's questions. We don't know if they're going to cut the hole to the right or the left of the road. There's a lot of little details that will change, but let's, if you do have a change, say in April, bring it to the council and let us know. Don't gather them up and then come back in September, October and tell me we had 20 changes. Please bring me all the changes as they come.
I understand,
Thank you.
Mayor. In the part of the contract, we have and you approve some small amount of money for contingencies, so minor modifications or minor issues, you have already approved that funding. If something comes up that's outside of that, I will make sure that you are aware of that before that happens. As you may be aware also, many times during the construction, and you probably hear that from Frank Reed and many other projects, that there are situations that you have to make a decision because if you stop the project, it's going to cost more than the money that you may have to pay because the contractor, you stop the project until get approval for the change, start charging you downtime. So that's some of the times, that's why we put a little bit of contingency money in the project. So if we see that that's an issue, we would bring that to the council as soon as possible.
Yes, I understand that, but let's take them as they come.
Yeah.
Don't put them in the pocket and then come back and say, I got, we spend this much more.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Bojorquez.
Mr. Barcenas, have all the residents at Royal Road and Rancho Grande been notified that this
They're
project is going to be starting on the
before the
21st?
They're going to be notified before the construction start. Is in the pre-construction meeting, we're going to set up how and when they're going to be passing the information to the neighborhood and what portions of the subdivision are going to start construction, so they know, because they're not going to get impacted the whole subdivision at once. They're going to be doing little sections. So once I know that, they're going to say, well, when we work in this area, we're going to be impacting this many homes. So they are going to notify them both ways. We're going to post that in our website and in our communication system here, but also the contractor is going to go and deliver written notices saying, on these days, we're going to be working on these areas. And also, verbally, they're going to go, when we're going to start working in one of the streets, for instance, and say, okay, we're going to start working in 2 days from that, and we are going to need to block your access to the house for a couple hours or 6 hours or whatever the time is. So people knows that that inconvenience is going to happen at that day, and they can plan ahead, and they need to move their car or whatever the goal is to have access to every home on a daily basis, that nobody's going to be without access to their property.
And these residents, will they be without water or sewer for a couple of hours when you start this program?
No, the way that it's going to be constructed, the whole system, the new system is going to be constructed completely and tested and approved before they switch from the old system to the new system. So they at the end, when all the lines are in place and constructed and approved, we're going to be switching individual services. At that time is when every single home is going to have to be without water for a few hours. So but it's not going to be the whole subdivision. It's going to be home by home, probably 2 or 3 homes a day or something like that. The contractor, depending on how much work they can do in a day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions? I do have one. Mr. Barcenas, down for future reference, we're putting new lines. We're going from a 4-inch to an 8-inch?
8-inch.
8-inch to a 12? Well, it's going to be an 8-inch, right?
An 8-inch.
And we have 4 right now?
We have 4 and we have 6-inch lines,
Okay.
but the lines are really in bad shape, and they're asbestos cement, and they don't have bedding, so they are constantly, the sub.
Yes, and that's the main reason we're doing it. And, in the past we had 20 residents, now we have 100, or 20 houses, now we have 100. Now, is there, just a thought, down the road, because of the difference of tubing or pipeline that we're installing and all that, definitely we will have better water service in that area. Will there be any change or in the measures or maybe increase of their meters? Because I've been asked, that's why I asked.
No, we don't expect to have any impact into the local billing or the quality of the water or the pressure of the water. The water is coming from a fixed point, which is the tank that's right there. All that subdivision is fed from that tank, and it's going to continue to be fed that way when the lines are. The piping is PVC pipe. That's the standard that gets used in the industry for water lines. And we're going to do that according to the rules and regulations of the state.
Yes, Councilman Doyle, turn on your mic, please.
Thank you. I was wondering, is there a booster system to help along those other hilly areas where?
Not for those subdivisions. The booster that's right at the entrance of Royal Road is to boost the water that's coming from the river to the tank. And then from the tank, we distribute the water to subdivision.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle. Any other questions? Thank you for the update, Mr. Barcenas. Mr. Dickey, any other comment on the progress of those projects? Thank you. Next, we move to orders. Number 6, A, consideration and possible action of Order 203-02-006, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional contracting agreement contract for the remodel and construction of the Shea Park. Any discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Any nays? Sorry about that. Okay, motion passes. Item B, consideration and possible action of Order 2023-02-007, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, accepting the proposal from Innova Engineering LLC for the North Water Storage Tank rehabilitation in the amount of $388,000. Okay, who's second?
Questions or is that?
No, it was so moved. Was there a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Bonilla. Any discussion? Go ahead, Councilman Doyle.
Yes, I was curious as far as I see the name Innova, and I've already seen it on working on roads and whatnot. Are they also experts on tank rehabilitation? Is that something they do also? Do well? You're not going to have any problems with our tanks? Okay.
Mr. Dickey, who could answer that question, please?
Yes, they are qualified to work on the tank. They do lots of different kinds of work. So yes, and we'll make sure they do it right.
Just checking up on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes or carries. Item C, consideration and possible action of Order 2023-02-009, an order of the Council of City of Nogales, Arizona, authorizing the city manager to approve change order numbers 1 through 6 with Innova Engineering for additional work to complete the Frank Reed Road paving project approved August 9, 2022. Okay, any discussion? Councilman Bojorquez?
Mr. Guerra.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Yes.
Yes, back in I think it was November, you submitted for a change order for $60,000 for this project. And what is a new change order?
Yeah, I understand your confusion because I presented a change order request for the multi-use pathway, which is a different project coming behind this. And that is for additional engineering. But this is for the construction.
Do you anticipate any more change orders on this project?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. And let me tell you why. The prices of concrete and asphalt has been increasing since the starting of the project. Contractor is allowed to request additional charges if they want, a minor percentage, but they have not requested anything yet. So, but I don't know. That's why I'm saying I don't know yet.
And are you requesting this change order come from ARPA, ARP?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Machado, is that an allowable expense from ARPA?
Yes, it is. To my knowledge, it is. That type of expense.
Okay.
The extent I can't tell you, like I said, but at least that one I know that is permissible.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Any other question from council?
Mr. Guerra?
Mike?
Mr. Guerra, these change orders 1 through 6, they're not just change orders that just crept up on us. I believe that they've been morphing and you finally were able to kind of nail down a price. But you've been working with these change orders for a while. Am I?
That is correct, Councilman. I have been working with this change order since almost the beginning of the project, and then I have been fighting with the contractor for every penny. I have been in constant discussions for every change order and lowering the cost. So the cost is based on unit prices bidder and at the time of the bid, but sometimes they also charge extra money for overhead and indirect costs. So that's the part that I have been fighting for. But at the end, it's a fair charge based on unit costs.
Go ahead, Councilwoman Montiel.
We were just given this document. Is this what you're talking about?
Yes, this is basically a description of each of the change orders, just to provide you with more information why and what was the purpose of that change.
Just got it, so
Sorry.
didn't know. Thank you.
Just to let council know, when I was approached on this, putting this item on the agenda, I made 1,000 questions, and I asked Mr. Guerra to present council with this, because, if you could see on the descriptions, all these orders go back, and this comes from the questions I was doing to Mr. Barcenas right now. All these orders go back, May, November, October, December. And that's what I don't want to have. I've talked to them on, give it as it comes. Don't put it in your pocket and throw it all at once. I understand the changes, the necessity of having to make the call at the moment, but, not 6 months, 5 months later. That's what I want, he understood. We talked about getting it in a faster way to the council. That way, we are all under the same perspective that things are being done, things are being changed. Mr. Guerra, this illustration of the picture gives a great answer to my questions, and I appreciate you having them. Because when we talked about them, I was explaining, on the situations. Obviously, I couldn't go back to May, November, October to see what the problems were, because you had already fixed them. And a lot of times, because we don't see them at the moment, we don't understand the reasoning. And that's what I was trying to avoid, misperception of the council, the people, not knowing the reasoning why you're asking for these funds, or basically the changes that were made in the construction. Thank you. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mr. Gradias.
Just to get it on the record, I know that they're going to do a remilling of the whole project and a new overlay, and just to make sure there won't be another change order, because that's already included in the total cost of the project, correct?
You are correct, Councilman. As part of the construction process, at the end, we used to provide a punch list of defects of the project, and we already visited the site, and as part of the responsibility of the contractor, they will do the repairs necessary, and then that is a mill and overlay of the areas that were not properly done, and then additional things that we found.
Mayor?
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I have one more question. Mr. Dickey, I sent you an email regarding the light situation or lack of. Can you address that, please, or someone?
Juan, could you give us an update on that?
Sure. I have been in contact with Unisource. They are currently working. They said that they have the street lights requested, or because they didn't have it available. And but we did our part, which was the trenching was part of one of the change orders. We did the trenching and installed the conduit. So we are just waiting for them to install the two street lights that were removed as part of the project. We're obstructing along the new alignment, and we had to remove it. But according to Unisource, those lights will be turned on again within a week, hopefully. Yeah.
Go ahead, Councilman Bonilla.
Mr. Guerra, I remember that was it a couple of weeks ago that we took a drive with you and Mr. Kissinger and Mr. Dickey out on Frank Reed, and I think the discussion was, and it caught my attention right now because he said, well, they're going to mill certain areas, but I think the conversation we had is that we didn't want it looking like a jigsaw puzzle, 10 feet. And then another 10 feet, okay, and then are they gonna mill the entire project, or are we gonna have ugly patches? Because that's not what I don't think we approved for a project like that. We want something nice. I know these people that are here today are very grateful that we did that. However, I personally, as I told you, I am not satisfied with that work they're doing. And I'm not only satisfied with a little piece, I'm not satisfied with the entire project. And I think that, and my question to you, is the entire street going to be milled?
No, sir, not at all. As an engineer, I walked the project with the contractor, and we agree where the areas, the worst areas are, but not all the project is in bad shape. And then let me tell you why. The aggregate used for this project, recommended by the consultant who did the design, recommended to be used ADA specs. And ADA specs are for heavy trucks or more heavy-duty project, and requires a bigger aggregate. And that's why what we see sometimes, the surface not as smooth as we want it. But let's say 90% of the project is in good condition, is in good shape. Just sections that we identified, like the laterals and the beginning of the project close to Ciarduli, and then close to the high school.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Guerra, I guess perception is everything, because you say 90% of the street is okay, and I will tell you that I think 90% of the street is bad. So that was my biggest concern with you. I'm not happy with that, with the entire project. As a matter of fact, as soon as you come in through Grand Avenue, how do you explain this? We come off the old asphalt, and it is a smoother ride. And then when you hit the new asphalt, it's bumpy. And if you look where they striped, you can tell where it's all curvy, and it's all through the road. It's not something that I imagine. We took a tour with you, Mr. Guerra, and I don't think that our citizens that live on Frank Road, that, as a matter of fact, you and I had, when I barely became a councilman, I remember clearly that was one of my first issues that I had, because of the time that these citizens had to wait. And from what I remember that came out from that conversation is that we decided to do something. Mm-hmm. We couldn't just tell our citizens, well, just wait 2-3 years. Then that's what they waited. We're almost on year 3, and well, it got done. But in the meanwhile, we got Apache Boulevard done. But for what, Mr. Guerra? I mean, I'm not satisfied. I know some council members here are not satisfied with that project from Innova. I don't have problems with Innova doing the tanks. They do a lot of stuff like the water infrastructure and all that. But you must admit, Mr. Guerra, that they did not do a good job paving the street. It looks nice, but it doesn't feel nice. And I don't like it when now I'm being told, well, it's going to be milled certain places, because you're telling me that 90% of that street is done right. And I will say to you again that I believe 90% of the street is not done right. So I just don't want it to look, it's still going to look that way, obviously, with a bunch of ugly patches on that street. I thought, Mr. Guerra, that either we had some type of understanding when you went back with this company, but, it is a shame because we paid 2.3 million on that project, right?
Well, with this change order, it will be 2,006,000.
Okay.
It's still 12% less than the next bidder.
Regardless, Mr. Guerra, that's, I just, for what we paid for and what we got and the time, all these people had to wait, getting into their houses and at the end of the day, that road was not built correctly. And you told me this, that there are guarantees. However, the discussion that I had with Mr. Dickey and Mr. Kissinger with you in your vehicle was that we didn't want those patches done because, well, number one, it's not going to look good. And I think that we paid for something that we should get an even surface, a nice surface, not patchy because I don't know. I think our citizens deserve something better. They waited a long time. They've been waiting for, 10 years probably, Mr. Garcia? 20? Oh, I take that back. So,
okay.
So I think that we could talk to this company and see if they can mill the entire street. I think our citizens deserve something better. They waited 20 years for that. And at the end of the day, it was not, I know it's not your fault, Mr. Guerra. I'm not holding you,
Mr. Mayor,
responsible.
Mr. Council members, we'll communicate that with Innova and talk to them. We'll have that conversation, let them know how council feels about the situation. I'm pretty sure that, well, I'm hoping it's not going to be a jigsaw. I think they're going to, there are areas, and I was out there too, and it'd be nice if the whole thing was done, and that was what we were hoping to get. But it sounds like they're going to do a large area. So say there's the jigsaw in one area, but they're going to go a bit long. They're not going to just go through and patch certain areas, are they?
No, and they will be waiting for a better time because the cold weather doesn't help at all.
Okay.
The asphalt needs to be laid out in certain temperatures.
Right. So this will be done in May, I think. But we'll communicate that with Innova. We'll get back to them and see what we can come up
I
with.
understand that, Mr. Dickey, but that's the only thing. That's the only concern I have. These people waited for the longest time.
Yep.
And I think it was pretty much the councilman that actually took you guys and asked for a tour of that street because I was not satisfied. It looks nice. It don't feel nice. Yeah. I don't know. I hope Mr. Dickey, Mr. Kissinger, and Mr. Guerra that you guys go back to this company and see what we can do.
Sounds like we need another
Because we
conversation.
paid a lot of money,
Well,
our taxpayers' money.
We'll definitely look at it. Mr. Doyle, Councilman, turn on your mic.
So, the only thing positive that I see about it, because I noticed kind of the same thing that Councilman Bonilla was saying, the ripples but as I was riding through there, and my wife said, well, at least they don't have to put speed bumps. No, but I mean, no. Sometimes, this is just in other words, it's noticeable. And you do slow down a little in a sense because the roads are narrower now. And so maybe in that sense, it's a positive note for safety since the school's right there. And where I noticed it more was in the schools and as you said on the other end. Mm-hmm. But again, I think it had probably to do more with the temperature than the company, but I think we should still keep an eye on Innova and make sure that they do other good projects for the city.
Definitely we'll look into it, Mr. Guerra, whatever we can do, or get from the company to support. I know there is a warranty on it. We'll keep an eye on it. But let's see what they're willing to do and look at it. Obviously we've heard from the constituents that live there; they're very happy. But we got to get what we paid for, and hopefully anything that can be addressed. Honest tell you, your wish list, Mr. Bonilla, I think it's very hard to meet. But hey, as long as we try, talking doesn't hurt nobody. So I think if we get a good understanding, I think we'll make it work.
We'll give council an update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, people want to say something. I don't
May I speak?
¿Se trata de esto?
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Claudia Zamora. I have met most of you throughout my life here in Nogales. So I'm very proud to stand here, tell you, I'm very happy with the street because it's a lot better than what it was. But you're correct. If you pay a lot of money, you want to have it perfect because it's a lot of money and it comes from all of us. But I want to add to that maybe if we don't let the traffic from the trailers go through there, tractor trailers make a lot of damage. I live on one of the corners there, and all throughout the night from 1 o'clock in the morning, I get off at midnight sometimes, I can hear boom, boom, Border Patrol with all their, and I work for the government, but they carry all those carts with all those ATVs, all the heavy equipment that comes through there with disregard to what we have just paid for. So again, we appreciate you hearing us out. And thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, go ahead.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Mi nombre es Claudia Oros y vivo en el 706 West Placita Germán Rivas. Mi preocupación es acerca de la construcción de lo que acaban de exponer aquí mis vecinos, de la construcción de multifamiliares que se va a...
Señorita, disculpe, pero
No, lo más me quería...
No por eso, pero eso es afuera del tema. Le entiendo y escuchamos a la gente,
sí,
pero los reglamentos no nos dejan salirlos de la orden que estamos escuchando.
Es lo que quería preguntar.
Tiene que ser sobre la
calle. ¿Cuál es el proceso para detener esa obra? ¿Qué es el siguiente proceso que tenemos que hacer como ciudadanos para...
Disculpe, señorita, estamos hablando algo fuera del tema de la orden que estamos hablando.
Okay.
Ese proceso está en la agenda y se va a platicar.
Ok.
Okay. No me quiero oír como si estoy rudo con usted, pero se va a tomar en cuenta.
No, yo lo
y le agradezco.
Es que no estoy acostumbrada a estos procesos.
Correcto, le entiendo.
Gracias.
Le agradezco. Any other questions from the council? So, all in favor on item C? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All opposed? Motion carries. D, consider and possible action on order 2023-02-010. An order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving transfer of $2,500 from contingency to fire department training for the purchases of public CPR cards.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
We partnered up with the nonprofit already for this. I was seeing.
We are talking to Mariposa. We moved this. I asked to move the 2,500 as I promised the citizens. Last thing I want is to charge the citizens for their diligence in getting certified. But we're working with which is Mariposa Clinic on getting handling the funds of it. It is harder for us to do it as a city. But we're in that process. Right now, I think they're scheduling on the 28th of March to have their first test trial. but we talked about putting this fund. It might be used, it might not be used, but last thing I want is cancel anything, for this small amount and have it ready if needed. The other thing is, we're going out and trying to get more people to get to support, port authorities. We got the chamber, we got the both the schools. We have the Border Patrol, PD, everybody is involved, and this is to get citizens certified. We're doing a project of training for CPR to the community. We're first working with the employees, and then we're going to spread it out to the whole community. 1 minute of one CPR process in any victim can save a life, and $2,500 is nothing compared to what's a life worth. So that is something we're doing, and that's how we've started. Unfortunately, on the 28th, a lot of us will not be here due to a travel trip to Washington to look at other things. But, if somebody stays around, I definitely will not be here. But, I would appreciate all the support we could give, our staff and our contingents that are helping on this matter. So, well said. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, on the ordinance, ordinance A, consideration and possible action of ordinance, reconsideration of ordinance number 02023-01-001, second reading of ordinance 2023-01-001 of the city of Nogales, amending ordinances number 20X adopted June 27, 1989 by amending the official zoning by rezoning partial of property in the city from single-family residence 18 SFR 18 to multiple family residential MFR on Santa Cruz County Assessor's Partial Number 102-03-010A. I moved, to table this and have it tabled with further discussion for us to look at this situation. So I move to table this ordinance, and do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against? Motion carries. Now we'll move to executive session. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
On both items.
On both items, yeah, A and B. Second?
Second.
Okay, we move to executive session. Thank you.
Te salvaste. So
I got a whole list.
second. Mañana, we'll do them mañana.
Yeah, email them.
Hold on, where, what, Ray be recorded? Let's see. People, we gotta, okay, thank you, we're back from executive session. Council, I'd like to table any future agenda items and, we'll bring it back on our, February 21st meeting, future, if anybody has an agenda item. And so, bring it back. Mayor and council reports, unless there's anything urgent, that anybody wants to mention, we'll, take it right now. But if not, basically, I move to adjourn this meeting. Any? So move.
So fast.
Thank you, George.